There's nothing more confusing and traumatizing than dating that emotionally unavailable guy, but also while simultaneously being the most exciting ride adventure of your life. I get it. I've been there. I've been there way too many times, and I really am over it. Like at this point in my life, I think the more that you entertain the emotionally unavailable man, the more you are truly telling yourself, reaffirming that you're not good enough for what you actually want, and also could potentially be that you yourself are emotionally unavailable. But one thing I know for sure is that it is not your job to heal that emotionally unavailable man. It's not your job to prove to him your worth either. So if you're ready to stop attracting and stop entertaining the emotionally unavailable man this year, stay tuned. Welcome back to another episode of Way Too Wifey. I'm your host, respectfully Gabby, and in this podcast, we talk all things dating, relationships, and of course, self-love in this modern day. And if you are new here, hi, I'm Gabby. I'm an online dating coach where I help you transform your confidence to live your best lives inside and outside of relationships. So if you are tired of being stuck in the same unfulfilling patterns, if you are tired of feeling stuck where you stand, the same situationships that you keep falling into, my 8-week transformation program may be exactly what you need to get started. I've designed this program for my anxious attachment girlies to help overcome your anxious attachment, your people-pleasing tendencies, your relationship self-sabotage, and your low self-esteem. What makes this program unique is that it's backed by science-based strategies combined with subconscious reprogramming to help you rewire and reframe your brain to feeling like your best self again. With direct one-on-one support from me, we'll dive deep in retraining your brain so that you can start attracting and keeping better in your life. So if you're ready to get started today, hit the link in my bio, book a discovery call with me. Also, huge news. I got some updates for you guys. I am releasing some merch. As you can see, I'm wearing a hoodie today. Maybe you're not watching this, but I'm dropping hoodies. They will be available for order on January 29th. I have a couple different colors, this gray one, and then some other ones that will be available online on the link on my bio. So go check that out. If you want to pre-order it, I'm sure there's going to be an option available for that. I haven't quite figured everything out yet, but if you want to go hit the pre-order, now is your time. Sign up for my newsletter so you don't miss anything coming out, any hot tea that I'm going to be telling you, any promotions, and sometimes free giveaways for coaching sessions. So go hit the newsletter. I promise you, you won't regret it. It's only once a week. I promise I won't bombard you with emails. Okay. Also, if you could hit the like, hit the subscribe button, turn on your bell notification so you'll never miss another episode. Make sure to leave that 5-star rating if you've been watching this for a while and you have gotten some ounce of value out of this. Please hit the 5-star rating or the thumbs up. I love you all. Thank you so much for watching. You could be tuning in to any podcast and you are tuning in to mine today. So I appreciate you as always. Okay, let's get started, guys. It's going to be a good one. Okay, guys, I have a crazy story that happened to me recently. And I need to share with you guys because who else am I going to share with? I have like 2 friends that I share everything with. And besides that, and besides that, it's you guys. So I went out this weekend partying quite a bit. I am realizing now that I need to like get a grip on my life and stop doing this so much. But I went out this weekend. This Italian guy that I had been not really talking to. I met him once and we made out and whatever. It was really nothing truly. But his friend invited me out with the group. And I was like, you know what? I have nothing else to do. Let me go. Let me get my drink on. It's a beautiful, gorgeous weather day. I feel like I need to have a glass of rosé in my hand. And so I get there and I drink a lot. Okay. And at one point or another, the Italian guy ran off and started talking to another group of girls in front of my face. And I was just like, I don't know why I'm even here. Like, I didn't even come for this man, but it's very blatantly obvious he does not give a shit. As he was talking to them, I was sitting down. I'm like, okay, well, let me go scrolling on my phone through Instagram. I'm on my phone and I see one of my friends post a story and I was like, okay. In his story, he has his friend tagged and I was like, wow, his friend is very handsome. So I hit the tag and I follow him drunkenly. I probably wouldn't have done this, especially knowing him through my friend. I'd be like, absolutely not. But as I had followed him, I had posted a picture on my story of the sunset and he messaged me back almost immediately and was like, oh, hey, where is this? And I was like, yeah, honestly, I'm trying to leave. I don't want to be here anymore. And he's like, oh, like, why don't I come pick you up? And I was like, set, done, let's do it. I don't have to, I'm so far away from home right now. Please come pick me up. It's like, okay, I'll be there in 20 minutes. Wow, okay. This man pulls up in my dream car. And I was like, wow, I think I love him. I sat down in his car and immediately felt like I had known this man. Like, it was so comfortable. I can count on my hands how many times this has happened where I feel so drawn, so connected to who's ever in my presence. I don't know, like, it just feels very different than meeting most people. Like, it just felt very natural, like we had been together. It felt like there was so much to catch up on. Like, okay, let's go to dinner. And so immediately he took me to dinner. We had some bites, and then he's like, I really want to spend time with you. So we were kind of just walking through the mall because he had some stuff to like return, drop off, whatever. We were walking through the Dubai mall, and I'm like, why does this feel so natural? Like, this feels so comfortable. And I also was drinking, so I was like, maybe that's it. But he was like, no, this feels like I feel like I've known you for so long. He actually didn't live in Dubai. He lives in a different country. I was like, so what have you done so far in Dubai? And he was like, oh, well, actually, I went to this bar on Friday night. And I was like, wait a minute, I was at that bar on Friday night. Tell me why. He pulls up his phone, and on his phone, he's like, well, I had a table with my friends. These are the friends that I was with. He shows me a picture. I zoom into the picture, and I'm like, wait a minute. My table with my friends was immediately right next to you. I'm like, how did we not see each other? And he's like, I have no idea, but how weird is that? And I zoom in even closer, and I'm in the background of every single one of his pictures. And I was like, that's actually so crazy. Like, what are the odds? And I was like, it's kind of weird how we met the way that we did, but I'm glad that I didn't meet you out necessarily. And he's like, yeah, same. And he's like, I just knew that I would meet you some way. Like, it just feels like we were supposed to meet. And I was like, in my delusional mind. And I think a lot of times this probably happens maybe for someone else or myself in the past. Men will tell me these things, or it will just have this feeling like we were destined to meet. But just because you have a feeling you were destined to meet someone doesn't necessarily mean that that's your person. So anyways, we had such a good night. Like, we went out after for shisha and just spent a lot of time. We like chatted. We literally were so invested in each other. It was probably one of the best conversations I've had in a really long time. Dropped me off. We had seen each other consecutively like 2 more times after that. And by the 3rd date, we had a conversation. I was kind of expressing where I was at, and I was like, okay, this is, like kind of what I'm looking for. This is what I want. And he's like, yeah, to be honest with you, like, I've not let myself get emotionally attached to anyone or emotionally invested because I have goals that I'm working on right now, and I really want to stay focused on what I'm doing. I really want to stay aligned with the vision that I have for myself, and I just feel like it's almost selfish of me to be investing in my emotions when I know that I'm not necessarily there. And I know that my family, because he's in a family business, he's like, I know that my family needs me and they need my help here. So I almost feel like it's selfish investing in feelings. And I think old me, because it felt like we had known each other for so long, it felt so natural. A lot of the things that he was saying and how he was responding to me, how he was acting towards me, felt very like boyfriend-like. I think we get caught up sometimes in that feeling and ignore the things that people are telling us. And had this been a couple of years ago, I probably would have zoomed past all of the words that were coming out of his mouth. But I think when you ignore the big picture, the big things that they tell you, you're overlooking so many things because you want it to be the way that you want it to be. But in reality, it's something else, and he's not really looking for anything serious. He's not looking for a relationship, but in your mind, it feels like a relationship. So you look past what he's telling you and you're like, let's zoom on past this. But be real with yourself. If you're not catching what they're saying very early on and how they're responding, maybe they're like, he's a good guy. I will give it to him. He's a very kind-hearted, would do anything for anyone, but not emotionally available. And it's not my job to try to fix him or try to make him invest in me or make him see my value. It's not my job. My job is to protect me and my emotional well-being and understand what I want out of my life and the people and relationships that come into my life. And if he's not it, then I have to keep it moving, because if I continue to invest emotionally in this man who's really just looking for some kind of like emotional woman to be around, but also doesn't want to commit to actually having emotions, it's good for that short period of time. I know what he's looking for, and I'm real with myself about what he's looking for. I can either accept it knowing that I don't want anything, or know that I want something and leave it where it is and keep on moving with my life. Yes, we can be cool. Yes, it doesn't have to be this huge blowout of me, like you tricked me, blah, blah, blah. No, it doesn't have to be like that. Really what it needs to be is, okay, like we're on different pages. I respect that. Thank you for letting me know. And I'm going to move on with my life because I know what I deserve and I know what I want. Listen to what they're saying very early on. The one thing that you can actually trust coming out of a man's mouth early on is when he says he's not looking for a relationship, or he's not looking for anything serious, or he's just going with the flow. Trust that man for what he's saying. That is the only time though, because any other thing that comes out of this man's mouth, oh, I could really see a future with you, I could blah, blah, blah. Let him show you those things. It's in one ear and out the other. Unless, of course, he's saying he's not looking for a relationship. I don't care if he's giving you boyfriend treatment. I don't care if he's acting like the best man on earth. I don't care. If he has told you he's not looking for a relationship, believe that man early on, or else you're going to disappoint yourself. I also think there's like a view of this troubled man liking you and choosing you. I think before, when I was maybe a little bit more emotionally unavailable, or was going after these men and wanted to prove my worth to them, I was going after the same type of man who was emotionally unavailable, very serious about his own life, his career. I didn't have that within myself. I was looking for the validation of him, because how lovely would it feel to make that type of man want me? But the more that you're real with yourself, and I don't need this man to invest in me because I'm so invested in me, that's when you're going to stop entertaining the bullshit and stop entertaining the emotionally unavailable people in your life. I had one of my clients talk to me about, like, how can I get him obsessed again? He was so obsessed with me in the beginning and now he's not. Here's the thing. You can't make that man obsessed with you. If he's emotionally unavailable, you can't bring back that obsession that he had in the very early stages, because once he's viewed you as a real person, the thrill of it, the excitement of it is now gone. The only thing that you can do is choose another path. And what do I mean by that? The only thing that you can do to prove your worth is not by staying. It's not by trying to prove to him how much you have to offer. It's about taking a step back and reevaluating the situation. Okay, he gave me this energy for 2 weeks and now he's ghosting. I know exactly where he stands. Your gut is telling you that something's off. Something is very much off. He's no longer interested, whether he found someone else, whether he moved on, whether he decided he was no longer interested. It doesn't matter. No one is more invested than the man in the first 2 weeks if he is emotionally unavailable. And you can't bring back that version of him, because that version of him is non-existent. It was an illusion. It was this idea of the perfect man that showed up and gave you the type of love that you have always craved from someone. And that is why, my friends, we go for the slow burn. The slow burn that isn't going to disappoint you. Yes, it may feel boring in the beginning because he's not giving you this excitement. He's not giving you this thrill. He's not giving you this intense emotions very early on, because he's still figuring out if he even likes you like a normal person. It is okay to have a strong feeling. I'm not invalidating your feelings. It's okay to have strong emotions for someone very early on, but your emotions aren't based in logic, meaning yes, the feelings are true, but those feelings that you're feeling aren't actually where you're at in terms of the relationship. You barely know this person. You've known them for 2 weeks. It's not that serious, but emotionally it feels more serious than it actually is. So that's why we have to blend our head and our heart, because our heart is telling us one thing, that yes, you have those feelings and it's okay to have strong feelings for someone, but is it actually where you're at in the relationship? A healthy love and an available, loving man is not going to give you this hot and heavy energy very early on. It just doesn't happen. It's not healthy. And it's also like, okay, yes, maybe he's interested. Yes, maybe he's persistent, but he's not going to love bomb you. He's not going to tell you how perfect you guys are going to live together happily ever after. It's going to be this slow, controlled Like, I'm interested in you. Let's keep this moving. I want to see you. I want to do things with you. And yes, maybe he wants to see you a lot, and that's fine. But you control the pace. Slow the process down. He doesn't need to see you every single day. Let's take a step back, take the power back into our hands, slow the pace down. That is when you know if someone is truly invested in you or if it's all an act that is going to come to the surface eventually. But the reality is that you want a partner. You don't want someone that you feel like you have to save or that you feel like they're therapist. And I think before I got caught into this because I wanted to save the man. I wanted to make him feel emotions and help him get through things. And like, I wanted to be there for them, right? But when you stay, you're losing yourself in the process, invalidating what you actually want out of a relationship. What I wanted was the emotional security. I wanted someone who's actually going to be there for me and show up for me. You're never going to get that type of security emotionally from someone who can't even show up for themselves. They're only going to meet you as deeply as they've met themselves. And if they're not ready to open that jar of emotions, he's never gonna open that jar of emotions with you. He has to make the decision that he wants to change for himself. No woman, no matter how perfect, no matter how wifey, no matter how much you bring to the table, is going to make him see that or going to make him want to make the change. He has to make that change for himself. And the more that you understand that, because I think as women, if we met the perfect guy and he had all the boxes, we would want to do all the things to make the changes to be perfect so that we can stay in that relationship. But we have to understand that men do not think the same. They think like, okay, well, if she's not it, I'll find another one. If she's not it, I'll find another one. Where their brains are at, okay? And there are so many great women out there that he probably will find another one and he probably will move on. And that's okay. If he's not emotionally available or ready for a relationship in the time that you are, stop trying to prove to him that it would be so perfect and you guys would be amazing and you get along so great. You have nothing to prove to him. You have to prove to yourself that you love yourself more than to stay in something that isn't serving you. Stop worrying so much about what he's up to. You need to start behaving like you have better things to do than to worry about whether or not he likes you. Life is so much bigger. Life has so much more to offer than a man who's not sure about you or who's not sure about himself realistically. Because and the more that you try to understand what's going on in his world and what's happening with him, you're neglecting your own inner feelings. You're neglecting yourself in the process. And it's going to make you end up backtracking your healing process, because the more that you abandon yourself, the more you're teaching yourself that you're not lovable. And I can almost guarantee you, if you continue to go for the emotionally unavailable guy, you're subconsciously teaching yourself that you're not worthy, that you're not lovable, that all of these subconscious beliefs that you're holding on to are still present because you're going for the man who's not choosing you. Start choosing yourself, start showing up for yourself, stop abandoning yourself. And I promise you that the right man will show up when the time is right. You won't have to convince him otherwise. You won't have to try to convince him of your worth. It doesn't matter. Literally move on with your life. Life has so much more to offer than the guy who's not sure. With all that being said, that is it for this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you got some kind of value out of this. And if you did, again, please leave that 5-star rating. Leave that thumbs up. If you think that a friend would benefit from this, please send it to them. And I appreciate you all for listening and making it this far in the episode. But I'll see you all next Tuesday.